Once upon a time, in a vibrant village in Damjima, there lived a woman named Amina. Amina was kind and hardworking. She spent her days cooking delicious meals, caring for the children, and tending to her beautiful garden. But there was one big problem: her husband, Juma. Juma was often angry. No matter how hard Amina tried to make him happy, he would shout at her and say hurtful things. Amina would cook his favorite dishes, but Juma would say they were terrible. When she asked him to help with chores, he would ignore her. Sometimes, he would even hit her. So she sad and alone. She wondered why Juma treated her this way. She loved him and wanted to make their home a happy place. But every day was a new struggle. Amina would try to smile, but tears often filled her eyes. One day, after a particularly bad evening, Amina went to the river to think. As she sat on the riverbank, she saw a beautiful bird with colorful feathers. The bird was singing a sweet song, and she felt her heart lighten a little. Suddenly, the bird flew down and perched beside her. "Why do you look so sad?" it asks in a gentle voice. Amina was surprised. "I'm sad because my husband treats me badly. I try my best, but he only yells at me." The bird listened carefully. "You deserve to be treated with love and respect. Have you thought about what you really want?" Amina thought for a moment. "I want to be happy and safe. I want to be treated well." The bird nodded. "Then you must find your strength. You have the power to change your story." Feeling inspired, she decided to be brave. She thanked the bird and returned home, ready to face Juma again. But she knew this time would be different. That night, when Juma came home and started to yell, Amina took a deep breath. "Juma," she said firmly, "I won't let you treat me like this anymore. I deserve kindness." Juma was taken aback. He had never heard her speak like this before. "What do you mean?" he shouted. "I mean I will no longer accept your anger. I want us to be happy, but it must start with respect." Juma looked angry, but Amina's courage surprised him. Amina's heart pounded as she faced Juma. After a long silence, he finally spoke, but his words felt like a heavy stone. "Amina, I'm not happy anymore. You've changed. You don't look the same, and you didn't give me a son." Amina felt a wave of sadness wash over her. She had given Juma 4 beautiful daughters, but he was not pleased. "I love our girls," she said softly, tears welling in her eyes. Juma looked away. "I want a son. I've met another woman who can give me that. I want to marry her." Amina's heart shattered. "But I've tried my best. I care for you and our children." Juma shook his head. "It's not enough. I don't love you like I used to. You've lost your beauty and you look very fat now." Amina felt lost and alone. She remembered the kind bird by the river and the strength it had shown her. She took a deep breath. "I may not be perfect, but I am still me. I will not let your words define me." Juma stared at her, surprised. Amina stood tall, feeling a spark of courage inside. "I will be strong for our daughters. They deserve a happy mother." Juma frowned, but Amina knew she had to be brave. As the days passed, she focused on her girls, filling their home with laughter and love. But in her heart, she worried about Juma's choice. One day, while playing with her daughters, Amina saw the colorful bird again. It landed nearby and chirped, "You're stronger than you think. Keep believing in yourself." Amina smiled at the bird, feeling a little hope. She knew she had to find a way to be happy, no matter what Juma decided. But would Juma's heart ever change? Amina was a good wife and loved Juma deeply, despite everything. She cared for their daughters and tried to keep the home happy. But one day, Juma surprised her by bringing another woman to their house. "This is Fatima," he said coldly. "I want her to be my second wife." Amina felt her heart sink. Fatima was rude and bossy. She didn't treat Amina or the girls kindly. Instead of helping, she shouted at them and made fun of their clothes and food. "Get out of my way," Fatima would yell when Amina tried to cook. "You're not needed here." Amina tried to stay calm for her daughters. She knew they were scared of Fatima, and she didn't want them to feel sad. But Juma didn't see how hurtful Fatima was. He seemed to enjoy having her around, and he often ignored Amina's feelings. Every day became harder. Juma would come home tired and take Fatima's side. "Why can't you be more like her?" he would say to Amina, making her feel small and unimportant. Amina felt sad for herself and her girls. They didn't deserve to be treated this way. She loved Juma, but she missed the man who cared for her. One evening, as the girls played quietly in the corner, Amina sat outside, feeling the weight of her troubles. The colorful bird flew down and landed beside her. "You look worried, Amina," it said softly. "I don't know what to do," Amina replied, tears in her eyes. "Juma doesn't see how Fatima treats us. I feel lost." The bird chirped gently. "You have the power to stand strong. Your love is important, but so is your happiness." Amina thought about the bird's words. She knew she had to find a way to protect her daughters and herself. But how could she change things with Juma and Fatima around? Amina's journey was just beginning. Fatima, the new woman Juma brought home, didn't like Amina at all. She often made mean comments and tried to make Amina feel bad. Amina felt hurt but focused on caring for her daughters. One day, Fatima had an idea. She wanted to win Juma's heart completely. So, she went to him and said, "Juma, I had a dream last night. I dreamed that I gave birth to a healthy baby boy." Juma's eyes lit up with joy. "Really? A son?" he exclaimed. He was so happy because he had always wanted a boy to carry on his name. Fatima smiled sweetly, pretending to be innocent. "Yes. I feel it in my heart that it will happen soon," she said, trying to sound convincing. From that day, Juma treated Fatima like a queen. He brought her gifts and showered her with attention. Amina watched, feeling a mix of sadness and anger. She knew Fatima was lying, but what could she do? As the days went by, Fatima became more demanding. "I want a bigger room," she said one morning. "And Amina should take care of all the chores." Juma agreed, not realizing how unfair he was being. Amina worked hard to keep the house clean and make meals for everyone, but it felt heavy on her heart. One evening, Amina sat with her daughters, trying to stay strong for them. They could see that their mother was sad, and they often asked, "Why is Fatima so mean, Mama?" Amina hugged them tightly. "Sometimes people don't understand how to be kind. But we will always be a family, no matter what." Amina felt determined to find a way to make things better. She wanted her daughters to grow up in a home filled with love. But how could she make Juma see the truth about Fatima? As she pondered this, the colorful bird appeared again. "You are stronger than you think, Amina," it said. "Trust in yourself and your love for your daughters." Amina nodded, feeling a flicker of hope. She knew she had to be brave and find a way to protect her family. One day, Amina began to feel different. She noticed signs that she might be pregnant. Excitement filled her heart. She thought about how much she wanted to give Juma a son. She remembered the colorful bird and hoped it would come back. When the bird returned, it landed beside her. "Amina, I have good news. You are having a son," it chirped. Amina's heart soared with joy. She couldn't wait to tell Juma. Maybe this would make him happy again. That evening, Amina gathered her courage and approached Juma. "Juma, I have something to tell you. I'm pregnant, and it's a boy," she said, her eyes shining with hope. But Juma's face turned cold. "I don't believe you," he said sharply. "I haven't touched you in months. You must have found another man." Amina's heart sank. "No, Juma. I would never do that," she pleaded, tears streaming down her face. "Maybe you should go to that man then," Juma snapped, dismissing her. He turned away, not wanting to listen. Amina felt broken. She had wanted this baby for so long, hoping it would bring happiness to her family. Instead, it felt like her dreams were slipping away. Every day was harder as Fatima continued to fill Juma's mind with lies. Amina felt alone and sad. She loved her daughters and wanted to be strong for them, but she also longed for Juma's love and approval. Sitting outside one night, she looked up at the stars, wishing for a better future. The colorful bird appeared again, resting on a branch nearby. "Amina, do not lose hope," it said gently. "Your strength and love will shine through." Amina nodded, wiping her tears. She had to believe that one day things would change. But what could she do to show Juma it is the truth? Juma's anger grew, and one day he made a terrible decision. "Amina, I don't want you in my house anymore. Go and live with the man who got you pregnant," he shouted. Amina's heart broke. "Please, Juma. I have nowhere to go," she cried, tears streaming down her face. But Juma didn't listen. "You can't stay here. You've caused too many problems," he said coldly. Their daughters, seeing their mother in pain, begged their father. "Please let Mama stay. We need her," they pleaded, their little voices full of fear. But Juma shook his head. "No. I want peace in my house. Fatima is here now." With a heavy heart, Amina realized she had to leave. She hugged her daughters tightly, promising them she would always love them. But where would she go? As she stepped outside, the cool night air felt lonely. Without any options, Amina found a place to sleep on the street. She wrapped herself in a shawl, feeling the chill in her bones. It was hard to be away from her girls, but she had no choice. Meanwhile, at home, Fatima was cruel to Amina's daughters. She yelled at them for the smallest things and treated them badly. The girls cried every night, missing their mother and wishing she was there to comfort them. "Mama, we want you," they would whisper as they wiped their tears. Amina heard their cries in her heart. She missed them so much but didn't know how to make things better. She felt lost and scared, but deep down, she knew she had to find a way to protect her children. One night, while sitting on the cold ground, the colorful bird came back. "Amina, do not lose hope," it said softly. "Your good heart will guide you. You will find a way." Amina looked at the bird and felt a spark of strength. She had to keep trying for her daughters. But how could she change their situation when everything felt so dark? Amina knew she had to find a way to take care of herself. So, she started hawking pure water. Every day, she walked through the village, carrying heavy buckets on her head. It was hard work, but she wanted to feed herself and save some money. But the stress became too much. And everything she'd been through made her to lose her pregnancy. Amina cried out loud. And thought of her husband in a very bad way. Few weeks later, Amina thought about her daughters constantly. She wished things had never happened this way. I just want to hold them again, she thought, tears in her eyes. One day, Amina gathered her courage and decided to try to see her children. She walked to Juma's house, hoping he would let her in even for a moment. But when she reached the gate, she saw her daughters playing in the yard. "Mama," they shouted, running toward the gate with smiles on their faces. Amina's heart filled with joy. "My girls," she called, reaching out to them. But then Juma appeared, his face angry. "Get back inside," he yelled at the girls. "You don't want to see that woman." The girls looked confused and sad. "But she's our mama," they cried, wanting to hug Amina. Fatima came out and pushed them away, calling them names and telling them they were useless for wanting to see their mother. Amina shouted at Fatima, "Don't ever talk to my children in that manner." Felt her heart break as she watched her daughters cry. "Mama loves you," Amina shouted, but Fatima wouldn't let her inside. The girls stood at the gate, tears streaming down their faces, wanting to be with their mother. Amina felt so helpless. She knew she had to be strong for them, but it hurt to see them suffer. Every night, she cried herself to sleep, thinking about her children. As the days went on, Amina kept working hard, selling water to earn money. She was determined to find a way to reunite with her daughters. Amina's husband, Juma, started to notice something strange about Fatima. She was acting different and seemed tired all the time. He tried to ignore it, but deep down, he wondered if her dream of having a son was true. Meanwhile, Amina found a job in a restaurant. She was happy to work and earn money, even if it was hard. She missed her daughters every day but knew she had to keep going. One busy afternoon, while Amina was serving food, she noticed two men at a table. They were whispering and looking sneaky. Amina watched as they put something into a drink. Her heart raced. What are they doing? She wondered. Just then, a man made Damjima walked in and sat down with them. Amina saw the two men smile wickedly as they pointed to the drink. They were trying to poison him. Amina couldn't let that happen. She rushed over, her voice loud and clear. "Don't drink that. It's been poisoned." The Damjima looked at her, confused. "What are you talking about?" he asked. The two men sneered. "Ignore her. She's just a silly woman," they shouted. But Amina stood firm. "Please, don't drink it. They are trying to hurt you." The Damjima looked at his friends, unsure. "Prove her wrong. Drink it," he said, challenging them. The two men exchanged nervous glances. They didn't want to drink it themselves. As more people gathered around, they realized they couldn't escape. Finally, with the crowd watching, one of the men shouted, "Okay, we confess. We poisoned the drink." The Damjima was shocked and grateful. "Thank you for warning me," he said to Amina. "You saved my life." As they talked, Amina felt a spark of hope. Amina felt relieved that she had saved Damjima's life. He smiled at her and said, "You are very brave. What's your name?" "My name is Amina," she replied. "I'm just trying to take care of my daughters." The Damjima softened. "Tell me more about your daughters and what you need." Amina began to share her story. "My husband, Juma, treats me badly. He married another woman, Fatima, who is very mean. I want to find a safe place for my daughters." The Damjima listened closely. "I can help you, Amina. I have resources and connections. We can find a safe home for you and your girls." Amina felt a glimmer of hope. "Thank you so much. That would mean everything to me." As they talked, Juma was at home arguing with Fatima. She was tired of his weakness. "You let Amina walk all over you," she shouted. Juma felt ashamed but didn't know how to stand up to her. He could only raise his voice at Amina when she was around. Back at the restaurant, Amina and the man continued to plan. "We need to act quickly," he said. "I will help you find a way to get your daughters away from Juma and Fatima." Amina nodded. "I just want them to be safe and happy. I miss them so much." The Damjima promised, "We will make this happen. You are strong, Amina. Together, we can change your story." The kind man got her a well-paid job and made her life very comfortable. As they made their plans, Amina felt stronger than ever. She knew her journey was just beginning, and she was ready to fight for her family. One day, Juma was driving when he got into a bad accident. He was hurt but managed to survive. When he got home, he found a letter from Fatima. It said, "I'm leaving you. I wasn't pregnant. I was just after your money." Juma felt shocked and alone. He realized he had lost everything because of his choices. He sat on the floor, feeling regretful about how he treated Amina. Meanwhile, Amina was busy making plans with the wealthy man to rescue her daughters. They talked about how to safely bring them home. Amina felt a mix of excitement and worry. With the man's help, Amina went to Juma's house. She knocked on the door, and when her daughters saw her, they ran to her. "Mama," they shouted, hugging her tightly. Amina smiled through her tears. "I missed you so much." With her new friend's support, Amina explained to her daughters that they would be leaving. "We are going to a safe place where you can be happy," she said. As they gathered their things, Amina heard Juma's voice behind her. "Amina, wait," he called out. Amina turned back and spoke to him. "We could have been happy together. I was a very good wife to you. I would never had hurt. I was carrying your unborn son. But you killed him out of your wickedness." Juma tried to beg her to stay. That he was sorry for everything. But it was too late. She looked forward and to her daughters. Together, they left the house, feeling lighter and free. Amina couldn't believe they were finally escaping from Juma and Fatima. As they walked away, Amina felt hope for the first time in a long while. Amina and her daughters walked hand in hand with their new friend, feeling a sense of freedom. They arrived at a cozy house that the wealthy man had prepared for them. It was warm and safe, and Amina knew they could start fresh here. Once inside, Amina hugged her daughters tightly. "We are safe now," she said, her heart swelling with joy. They unpacked their things and set up their new home. Amina decorated the rooms with colorful fabrics and made sure her daughters felt comfortable. Her daughters started school and made new friends, laughing and playing just like children should. Meanwhile, Juma was left alone, regretting his choices. He realized how much he had lost. Fatima was gone, and he felt the emptiness in his heart. He tried to reach out to Amina, but she was no longer interested in his empty apologies. Amina, on the other hand, focused on her new life. She made friends in the community who supported her and her daughters. Together, they celebrated small victories, like birthdays and holidays. Amina felt proud of how far they had come. Amina spoke to Damjima. She thanked him for everything he had done for her and her children. "I'm glad to see you and your daughters doing well," Damjima said. "Thank you for everything," Amina replied. "You changed our lives." Amina knew that her journey had been long and difficult, but now she felt strong and hopeful. She had built a new life filled with love and laughter. Together with her daughters, she looked forward to the future, ready to face whatever came next. And so, Amina and her daughters lived happily, knowing that they were finally free. Thanks for watching this video. Kindly share your thoughts in the comment section. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe.